Shalom,
Shalom,
Israel. This is Sister Kana, and
Brother Zahab.
praise the Most High. First and foremost, we want to give all glory and praise to Ahaya, Bahashmi Shaya, Wakatawa. And we say, bless you all. And it's been a while, I know, for me making some videos, and there's a lot of things that I wanted to touch on, and the brother also as well. So, you want to start, or should I start?
You start, go ahead, sister.
Okay, so first thing I want to touch on is I'm getting a lot of people contacting us to come out of Babylon, praise Ahaya, and we just want to encourage brothers and sisters to come out. We're trying to help brothers and sisters find work, find housing, so it's always best for people who come out first because, you're more in a good position to find work and stuff like that, opposed to waiting till later and then the job's already taken and it's flooded and stuff like that. So we want to encourage brothers and sisters to come out of Babylon. We want to build and everybody in Yeshaya. And we just wanted to say briefly that we just wanted to make sure everybody is doing the same things. We're on one accord, calling on the higher, the name of the Most High. Keeping the correct holy days. All these things are important because we can't go to the holy mountain calling on Yah, Yahweh, Jah, Jehovah. All those names are why we are in captivity in the first place. So we must understand that. So I just want to put that out, that the elect are the children of Israel who had the seal, which is the name of the Most High, Ahaya, and also who keep the testimony of Christ, which is baptism, in the water baptism, and also know the holy and keep the holy feast days, because the feast days are the commandment of keeping up. If you don't know the holy days, you can possibly keep the commandments, because the feast days are in an appointed time, and they are also kept in the heavens at the same time. And so if you go into the book of Enoch, you can kind of get that understanding, and we thank the Most High for the correct holy days now. Praise the highest. And so we can worship Him, but it seems that everybody don't have that understanding. So, and it's very important. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. Also, I wanted to speak about the borders. And I think it's very important, the borders, because I speak to a lot of brothers sometimes, and so does Brother Zahab. And a lot of brothers, talk to him about fleeing into Africa, fleeing into different parts of, lands, different lands. And you must understand about the borders. If you go into certain scriptures, and this is kind of like hidden information, the Most High didn't make it readily available. You have to study for this. So you have to go into the books. Let's see. If you go into 2nd Baruch, 29, 1 and 2, that's 2nd Baruch 29, 1 and 2, it says, He answered and said unto me, whatever will then befall the whole earth. Therefore, all who live will experience them. For at that time I will protect only those who are found in this self-same days in this land. Now, if you read the story of Baruch, you'll find that he was speaking to Baruch in the same location that he gave Moses the law. So that was in a general area, and I did a whole study on it, where Kadesh, showing where Kadesh is, which is in the Edom, modern day Jordan. And if you understand that where Baruch was at that time, he was in that same mountain, actually, where Moses was given the law. So you have to understand that was in modern day Jordan. And that is also in the circumference of the Most High's holy land. And that's one scripture. Then if you go into 2nd Esdras 9, 5 and 8, 2nd Esdras 9, 5 through 8, it says, For like as all that is made in the earth hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Even so Also the highest have planned beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. 7. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works, by faith, whereby ye have believed. Praise the higher. Shall ye be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So here in Esdras, he's letting you know that there will be a remnant that will be saved, and those people are saved by their works, by their faith, and their belief. So you have to learn to trust the Most High to come out of Babylon. And then he says he will save those only within his borders. So it's very important to know where the borders are. And you'll find that not a lot of people, elders and different camps are even speaking about the borders. They don't tell you, and I want to go into this because a lot of brothers are going into Africa thinking that they, it's a lot of deception going on. First of all, they said, when you go into Matthew 24, when Christ says, when you see the abomination of desolation flee into the mountains, they tell you that it's the Caucasus Mountains running into Africa. But you have to understand that at that time, we were going into captivity. So if you flee into Africa, that is leading you back into captivity. Because for one, they have Ebola set up. They have all kind of snares set up in Africa for that last battle to take Africa down. So if you flee into Africa, you're actually fleeing back into a snare, into captivity. Because that's what our forefathers did. But they had to fulfill the prophecy of us going into slave ships. But actually, Christ, when he said the mountains, he didn't say which mountains. So you have to know which mountains to go into. And he could have very well been talking about the mountains going around into Jordan from Israel. Those mountains. Because that will lead you into, if you go into Jordan, down into Kadesh. And that is where the safe place is. That is where the borders, you're still within the borders of the Most High, and you will be protected there. Okay, I just wanted to put that out. Also,
and he was speaking about the end. He was speaking about the end too.
Yes.
So that could be a future prophecy.
Right.
So not just going into captivity into Africa.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about, because see in 2nd Esdras it's talking about the end. He said, he's talking about the perils, talking about Jacob's trouble actually, those who escaped. And we know when we go into Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, when he tells us that the synagogue of Satan, he said that he will save a remnant from that 1 hour of destruction. You understand? So there is a remnant that will be saved. But you have to know what to do. And basically, it's to get up and get out of Babylon, get out of harm's way, and flee where it's safe. And I wanted to go into that in regards of where within the Holy Land it's safe. Now, when I do this, I also want to put up a map of the Holy Land, which consists of Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Israel, Iraq, and all that. But when you go into Numbers 34, and it gives you the landmass that the Most High allotted to Israel as their borders, a lot of it is mysteries, and a lot of it you can't break down. It takes a lot of in-depth study. But one part of it, it talks about going from Kadesh, the wilderness of Zin, and out into Kadesh, into the river of Egypt, which is the Nile River. It stops at the Nile River. And so when you look at the map and you look all the way up from that point going out into the Mediterranean, I think it's the Mediterranean Sea, that is within the borders. When you go across the Nile River, that is outside of the borders. So you must know and understand this, because that's why our brothers and sisters who were led into Alexandria, being told that they were fleeing to Alexandria, there's a reason why they took them to Alexandria, Egypt, and not further into Goshen or into Cairo, because Alexandria is actually outside of the borders. And the Most High said he will only protect those within the borders. So you got a lot of brothers and sisters and elders sitting on the outskirts of the holy land of the Most High that is not protected. And you have to start questioning why that is. Why are these elders sitting on the outskirts of the borders when the Most High said he will protect those only within the borders? My understanding is that's part of the infiltration. That as long as they keep us out of the land that we're supposed to be in, as long as they keep us out of the area where we're safe at, we are still vulnerable to destruction. They know these scriptures, way better than they had years and years to study our books. So it's important that you study to show yourself approved to a higher so that you'll know where to go and where to be. You can't let anyone deceive you and tell you with whatever they want to say and you don't go in and look for yourself. Also, that brings me back into Isaiah when he says, Isaiah 19:18, he says, in that day 5 cities in the land of Egypt shall speak the language of Canaan, which is the ancient Hebrew that we know that we're the Kodash Lashawan or Lashawan Kodash. We are speaking, we're learning. He said 5 cities in Egypt will be speaking that language. So we know that we got brothers and sisters in Egypt now speaking the ancient Hebrew and learning the ancient Hebrew. And this is prophecy that the Most High said would happen. But he said one of those cities will be called the land of destruction. Now the reason why location and being in the borders are so important is because if you're sitting outside of the borders, right? And the Most High said he will protect those only within the borders. And the scripture here in Isaiah 19 is saying that 5 cities will speak the ancient language of Canaan, but one is called the city of destruction. We have to look at what city is this that will be called the city of destruction. This is a future prophecy. Now, when the whole thing was going on with Cairo, I was like, well, I know brothers and sisters will easily go, oh, it's Cairo, it's Cairo, it's Cairo. But there's no real destruction that has happened in Cairo as of yet. But I wanted to point out that if Alexandria is that city, let's just say, if Alexandria is something major happens in Alexandria, our brothers and sisters are not protected there. It's outside of the borders of the Most High. And this is something that the powers at be understand. As long as they keep you without, on the outskirts of the land, sending you into Africa, sending you here, sending you there, and not keeping you within the circumference of the border where you're protected, you're vulnerable to destruction. They can still take Israel down. So again, being outside of the borders, in places like Turkey, in places like Alexandria, Egypt, Hurghada, which is further down Egypt, past where the border is cut off. I don't think that Hurghada is a good place to be because you're not protected there. When you look and listen, when you read Numbers 34. So I just want to put that out so brothers and sisters can take understanding to that, go into these scriptures for yourself, learn and study to show yourself approved to the Most High. Okay, also when I go into Isaiah 11. I made a video about this before, about Isaiah 11, where a lot of brothers and sisters are saying that Isaiah 11 is speaking of the Most High delivering people from there, like he's going to pick them up. Just like the Christian doctrine talks about being picked up in Babylon. That's not what Isaiah 11 is saying. When you read Isaiah 11:1, it's talking about Christ, right? I'm just reading a little bit of it. It says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall be upon him, and the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, and the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Ahijah. and shall make him quick understanding the fear of higher, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. Now, and this goes on and it's clearly speaking about Christ. This Christ is the Jew of rest of Jesse that is spoken of in Isaiah 11:1. But when you go down, keep reading down. This is where a lot of brothers and sisters get confused. When you read down to Isaiah 11:10, it says, and in that day, and usually every time it's talking about in that day, it's talking about towards the end time. In that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Now this is talking about not speaking of Christ. Also, it's talking about the tribes of Israel, Judah and Israel. We are also from the root of Jesse. Now, you have to be able to understand that. The root of Jesse in 11:1 is speaking of Christ, because Christ is of our bloodline. But the root of Jesse spoken of in Isaiah 11:10 is speaking of Judah and Israel. Our brothers and sisters today who left America, who are now sitting in Babylon, they are the root of Jesse that is standing as an ensign to the Gentiles. When our brothers and sisters started waking up and went into Egypt, the nations took attention. They know the prophecy of our people. They know we was in American slave ship. They know that we are the tribe of Judah. They know who we are. And when we started making our way back into Egypt and to these Middle Eastern countries, these people take notice. Because one, Judah and Israel is not really traveling, especially Judah coming out of America. When we those who in captivity in America, very really plantation. It's like they had put a spell on us, and we would not travel outside of our captivity. So when we started coming and going into Egypt, it's an ensign to the Gentiles. That's what the scripture is talking about. It's a prophecy that is being fulfilled before our eyes as brothers and sisters wake up and go into Egypt. Let me finish. So when you go down to, it says, and they rest shall be glorious. And that kind of precept to when the Most High says He will bring us back into the wilderness and we will be rest. We will have rest and we will be at peace. That also goes to that. When you go read Isaiah 11, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set His hand again, a second time, to recover the remnant of His people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the Isles of the Sea. Now, I really need to ask brothers and sisters to go into this, because they try to say that this is location that Christ will deliver people from. And the reason why they say that is because they're trying to lead people outside of the borders. Cush, which is Ethiopia, is not within the borders of the Most High. If you're sitting in Ethiopia, you are outside the borders, and you are prone for destruction. You're not under protection. Okay. And one of the main locations I want to bring out was Hamath. Hamath is talking about Syria, Damascus. Damascus is going to be destroyed, as you know, as we see it come to that. That's not going to be a place that Christ is going to pick anybody up from, because the Bible scripture says it's utterly destroyed. So them telling people that this is location that Christ will deliver you from is a lie, just because of that location alone. And if you understand and study the scriptures, you'll know that the borders, most of those locations are outside the borders, like Cush, Egypt, and which also passes as part of Elam, which is a mystery, which brothers had not been able to come up with. But I have my own idea where Elam is, but I'll go into it. That's another video. But either way, just letting you know that Hamath is not a place that Christ will come to only because it's supposed to be destroyed by Scripture. You can't get to Syria now, and most of the people are leaving Syria because of, the destruction that's going in. Actually, most of the Syrians are coming within the Holy Land borders. They're on the borders of Jordan and parts of Iraq right now. So they actually are coming into the land where the Most High said we will be protected within His borders. So actually, they're trying to send you outside of the borders. You actually should come inside. Jordan and Egypt are the lands that the Most High will, like He says when you go up in there, He says that He will retrieve the remnant a second time. That's actually talking about Him bringing us across the Red Sea again. So you have to be in Egypt, within Goshen, just like the time of our forefathers. And some people will not have to necessarily go through that, blah, 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 blah. Some people won't necessarily have to go through that whole purging. We all going to go through a certain purging through this, because the Most High is dealing with us in order for us to bring us through as a righteous nation. We're going to be purged, go through fire, go through circumstances. But some people don't have to go to Egypt per se. Some people can come to Jordan. And there's this purging here as well, but it's not the same purging as you going through Egypt, walking across the desert and coming to the Red Sea. That depends on you. But I just want to close that, just give you guys some food for thought. I pray you go into the scriptures, and I try to put the map up and stuff, and I'll give my brother this and stuff. I'm sorry. Praise the higher. Thank you for letting me, So I hand it over to you.
Well, I want to talk a bit on, I was talking to you earlier, I'm going to go to that, I'm going to go to Fringes. I see a lot of us that get Fringes, we're putting on our clothes, we're putting on the borders of our pants. Actually, should they do Fringes as they have? They have Fringes here, and then you have two at the back here, the two long ones that you have at the back that hang down, right? Those are not the actual Fringes that I think that we should be having. Sister was showing me too, and we are talking about it earlier, about the Fringes should be on the clothes. It should be on your clothes, like it should be at the you should have Fringes on the borders of your robes, like of the long clothes that you wear, right? Like right here. You should have Fringes around them, not I think what they call tassels. They call them tassels, and you're saying that they deal with that in Israel.
Yeah. They do that a lot in Israel. The Israelis wear these tassels. And you know that they don't worship the Most High. They're the synagogue of Satan. So I had noticed that a lot of the Israelites in Dimona was making these tassels. And, they didn't really keep the borders of blue around their garments. They just put 4 fringes, like he had 4 tassels at the end of their shirts and stuff like that. And, I went to scriptures because I was making, fringes. I was putting fringes on my clothes, and I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. So.
Yeah. I'm going to Numbers 15 and 38. Numbers 15 and 38 says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they may make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue." So that's not saying to do the tassels and put them on your jeans and put it the way I was taught, what I was told. Okay? And Deuteronomy 22 and 12 says, "Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the 4 quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself." So again, it's not on your jeans. Don't put them on your jeans. It's really, and we're going to go into a longer class on that to bring out more. The sister has some fringes on her clothes that she might be able to show. If you can see them.
Well, because they try to say that you just put 4, one here and one on the other end, instead of putting the borders of blue and the fringe on the edge of your garment. When you go into the Strongs, that border means the edge. So you put the blue on the edge along with the fringe. So these are the fringes, and I see a lot of brothers wearing, brothers and sisters wearing the fringes like this, but we were talking about the tassels, and I had noticed when I was in Egypt that they were wearing those tassels, and I couldn't find that in scriptures, but yet when you go into the Strong's, one of the definitions is tassel. So they kind of like flipped the whole thing around and made it so like you just put 4 tassels on the 4 points of your clothes, and I just didn't get that, and I just wanted, we started talking about it. And
so that's, so I know that a lot of the, I come from GLCC, so I know a lot of GLC Toronto brothers have that too, so I'm just asking you guys to look into the scriptures, and if you find something, let me know, because we looked into it and I don't see nothing that says we need to wear it on our jeans like that, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, okay?
Okay, shalom guys. I just wanted to add about, when I start talking about the borders and the Holy Land, there's a difference. In Matthew, 10 and 10 and 23, it tells us that we are not to go into Israel, the land of Israel, until the coming of the Son of Man, which is Yeshua. But that's different from being within the borders. You can be within the borders and not be in Israel. And the reason why it makes so much sense to me is because I went into Israel and I saw how defiled it was. I saw how those people who are claiming to be Jews and are not, the synagogue of Satan, have defiled the land. And our brothers and sisters over there in Dimona and different parts of Israel, they are into astrology, into numerology, into homosexuality. They praying to Yahweh. They're calling on Satan. They have defiled the land so much, and what's so bad about it is that they believe that they have the truth because they know that they're Israel. They know who they are, but yet they have taken on this satanic doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites. So they're actually worse in worse condition than our brothers and sisters in Babylon, in America, because they think they have the truth. And it's more damaging, to think you know the truth and worship Satan than just being under a curse and not knowing anything. They really are, they're into the Kabbalah, high-level Kabbalah. They worshiping the 6-pointed star. It's horrendous that what's going on with the children of Israel that are actually residing in Israel. They're dealing with a high level of witchcraft. And so I wanted to make that clear so that you can understand why we are not to go into Israel. When Matthew 10 is talking about they have defiled the soul land. Now, even though all the nations have partaken in this whole conspiracy to keep the children of Israel down to worship other gods, nobody is doing it to the level of those Jewish people. The scriptures is clear in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 that they are the synagogue of Satan. They are worshiping Satan to the highest level. I went to a store one day. In the supermarkets, they have temples where those men with the curly, they are praying over the food, the meats, everything. In the supermarket, they have, temples within the supermarket where they're praying over the food. And what I noticed, what struck my spirit when I was in Israel, is that a lot of brothers and sisters are walking around barefooted, crazy, talking out of their head, because the level of witchcraft that's being used on our people there. So I wanted to bring that out about Matthew 10 and why it's important to understand why we are not to go into Israel. And also I wanted to point out, because I said this in my other video, that you have CIA infiltration amongst Israel now trying to lure our people into Israel. Talking about they building the third temple along with Esau, building their third temple. You got brothers trying to get brothers and sisters to go into Israel and claim that there's going to be a third temple. And they tried to do it right at the time when I came out with the tabernacle being built in Kadesh. And I knew it was a distraction and a snare to start to plug our people to go, into Israel so that they can set them up for destruction. So I warn you again, do not go into Israel, the land of Israel today. That even though it's within the borders Matthew 10 is clear when it says, do not go into Israel, per se, because that place has been defiled to no end and to high level. So I just want to bring that, I almost forgot. So
I just want to say on Jordan here, that where we're at, we're not hearing no bombs. You know what I'm saying? When I say we're not hearing no shooting or nothing like that. So just because we're next door to Israel, we can't hear that propaganda nonsense they're pushing on the news.
yes, very safe.
It's very safe here. And, you know, a lot of the news is propaganda. So I just want to be quiet.
And even the scripture said that Moab, Ammon, and will not, Edom, Moab, and Ammon will not be touched. So that scripture, when you go into, I believe it's Daniel 11.
11:41.
Yeah, 11:41, it says that the king of the north goes in and takes down all, you know, the lands, but Jordan, or Edom, Ammon, and Moab will not be touched. So that lets you know, you know, the Bible is true, that that's not, you know, you don't have nothing to worry about here. And also there's another scripture where it says, Moab, hide my outcast. And I forgot what scripture, but I'll try to put it on the screen, that we will be in Jordan. And this scripture...
We'll leave off with that. We'll with that. Yeah. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All praise to the Most High, Ahaya, Ba'ashim Yeshaya, Waqadash Waq.
And we want to say all glory and praise to Ahaya, Ba'ashim Yeshaya, Waqadash Waq. And bless you all.
Okay. Kwame Yashra'Allah. Shalom.